Let's talk about something that's equal parts art and science: loves. Something that's been whispered about in poetry, painted in art, and dramatized in movies for centuries. Something that has captivated the human imagination since time immemorial, transcending cultures, languages, and generations with its mystical allure. Something that has inspired countless sonnets, symphonies, and sculptures throughout history, each attempting to capture its elusive essence. I'm talking about seduction, but not the cheap, manipulative kind you see in bad rom-coms, not the superficial, fleeting kind that fades with the morning light, not the calculated, game-playing kind that leaves everyone feeling empty and used. No, I'm talking about the kind that's rooted in confidence, self-awareness, and a deep understanding of your own power. The kind that emanates from within and transforms not only how others see you, but how you see yourself. The kind that becomes a philosophy, a way of moving through the world with intention, presence, and authenticity. Seduction isn't just about attracting someone else, it's about embodying your most magnetic self. It's about cultivating an inner radiance that naturally draws others toward you like moths to a flame, effortlessly and inevitably. It's about knowing your worth, owning your femininity, and letting your energy do the talking. It's about understanding the delicate balance between vulnerability and strength, between mystery and openness, between giving and receiving. It's about creating an aura that draws people in, not because you're trying to, but because you're simply being yourself, your most radiant, confident, and unapologetic self. It's about recognizing that true seduction isn't something you do, it's something you are, a state of being that permeates every aspect of your life, from how you speak to how you move, from how you listen to how you love. It's about embracing the power that comes from self acceptance, self love, and self awareness, understanding that these qualities create a magnetic field around you that is utterly irresistible. So grab your favorite drink, get cozy, and let's dive into the philosophy of seduction. Pour yourself something that makes you feel luxurious. Wrap yourself in something that makes you feel sensual, and create a space that makes you feel inspired. Because this isn't just another conversation, loves. This is an initiation into a new way of being. This is an invitation to step into your power, to embrace your allure, to own your magnetism in a way you never have before. Because, loves, you're about to unlock a whole new level of allure, a dimension of attraction that transcends physical appearance, a realm of connection that touches something primal and profound in the human experience. You're about to discover that seduction isn't something you learn, it's something you remember, a birthright that's been within you all along, waiting to be awakened. Welcome to Liz Essence. I'm Liz, and this is where standards are non negotiable, crowns stay polished, and authentic power is celebrated in all its forms. This is where we recognize that true allure comes not from chasing external validation, but from cultivating internal radiance. This is where we understand that magnetism is a byproduct of self love, not a technique to be mastered or a mask to be worn. Today, we're diving into the philosophy of seduction. We're exploring the art of attraction that stems from authenticity, the science of allure that's rooted in self awareness, and the magic that happens when you fully step into your power. Because let's be real, loves, you're tired of playing games. You're exhausted from the endless cycle of trying to be what you think others want, of dimming your light to make others comfortable, of shrinking your presence to seem more approachable. You're tired of pretending to be someone you're not just to get someone's attention. You're drained from the constant performance, the perpetual shapeshifting, the exhausting dance of trying to anticipate and meet others' expectations. You're tired of feeling like you have to shrink yourself to fit into someone else's idea of what's desirable. You're wary of contorting yourself into unnatural positions just to fit into boxes that were never designed for you in the first place. You're tired of the endless cycle of trying to prove your worth to people who don't even deserve your time. You're depleted from pouring your precious energy into connections that leave you feeling empty, relationships that require you to abandon yourself, and interactions that make you question your value rather than affirm it. Well, today we're flipping the script. We're turning the tables on conventional wisdom about attraction and revealing the true nature of seduction that most people never discover. We're dismantling the myths that have kept you playing small and replacing them with truths that will set you free to shine in your full glory. Seduction isn't about changing who you are, it's about amplifying who you already are. It's not about becoming someone different to please others. It's about becoming more authentically yourself and allowing that authenticity to be your greatest attraction. It's about peeling away the layers of conditioning, expectation, and fear that have kept your true essence hidden, even from yourself. It's about tapping into your confidence, your femininity, and your power to create an energy that's irresistible. It's about recognizing that confidence isn't arrogance, but rather a quiet certainty in your own value, a serene knowledge of your worth that requires no external validation. It's about understanding that femininity isn't weakness, but a profound source of power, a creative force that has shaped civilizations, inspired revolutions, and birthed new worlds. It's about realizing that your power doesn't come from controlling others, but from mastering yourself, from knowing who you are and standing firmly in that knowledge, no matter what storms may come. It's about understanding that the most seductive thing in the world is someone who is unapologetically themselves, someone who has done the inner work to know their value, someone who has cultivated self love as their primary relationship, someone who moves through the world with intention, presence, and authenticity rather than desperation, neediness, or manipulation. So let's get into it. Let's peel back the layers and reveal the truth about seduction that few people ever discover. Let's explore the psychology behind attraction, the energy that creates magnetism, and the self awareness that transforms ordinary interactions into extraordinary connections. Let's talk about how you can master the art of seduction in a way that's authentic, empowering, and unapologetically you. Let's discuss how you can cultivate an irresistible presence, not by adopting techniques or strategies, but by embracing your true nature and allowing it to shine without apology or restriction. Because, loves, you don't need to play games to win. You don't need manipulation tactics, pickup lines, or power plays to create connection. You don't need to strategize, analyze, or compromise your values to be desired. You just need to be yourself, your most magnetic, radiant self, the self that already exists beneath the layers of doubt, fear, and societal conditioning, the self that has always been there, waiting patiently for you to recognize its power, its beauty, its irresistible allure. Let's start with the foundation of seduction, self love. Because here's the truth, loves. The undeniable, unchangeable, universal truth that forms the bedrock of all authentic attraction. You can't seduce anyone else until you've seduced yourself. You can't captivate others if you haven't first captivated yourself with your own magic, your own resilience, your own unique beauty. You can't expect someone to see your worth if you don't see it first, to value what you offer if you haven't recognized its preciousness, to desire your presence if you haven't learned to enjoy your own company. Seduction begins with how you feel about yourself, with the relationship you cultivate with your own heart, mind, and soul. It starts with the conversations you have with yourself in the mirror, the promises you keep to yourself when no one is watching, and the boundaries you maintain, even when it's difficult. It's about looking in the mirror and falling in love with the person staring back at you, not just their physical appearance, but their courage, their resilience, their capacity for growth and change. It's about seeing beyond societal standards of beauty to recognize the unique constellation of qualities that make you irreplaceably you. It's about embracing your flaws, your quirks, and your unique beauty as essential elements of your allure rather than imperfections to be hidden or corrected. It's about celebrating the aspects of yourself that society might deem too much, your intensity, your sensitivity, your ambition, your passion, and recognizing them as sources of power rather than liabilities to be managed. It's about knowing, deep in your soul, that you are enough, not because you've achieved some external milestone or received validation from others, but simply because you exist, because you are a miracle of consciousness experiencing itself in human form, because your very presence on this planet is a statistical impossibility that somehow, against all odds, came to be. So, how do you do that? How do you cultivate this profound relationship with yourself that becomes the foundation for all other connections? Start by treating yourself like the prize you are. Begin by honoring your needs, respecting your boundaries, and celebrating your achievements, no matter how small. Take yourself on dates, not as a consolation for being alone, but as a celebration of your own company. Create beautiful experiences for yourself, museums on rainy afternoons, sunrise hikes, candlelit baths with your favorite book that remind you of your worth, even when no one else is there to witness it. Invest in your passions, pouring time and resources into the activities that light you up from within, that make you lose track of time, that connect you to your essence. Nurture your talents not to impress others, but because they're expressions of your unique spirit, channels through which your inner light shines into the world. Surround yourself with people who uplift you, who see your greatness even when you're struggling to recognize it yourself, who remind you of your worth when you've temporarily forgotten. Create an environment, both physical and emotional, that reflects and reinforces your value. that reminds you daily of your magnificence. When you radiate self love, it's magnetic, an irresistible force field that draws others toward you without effort or intention. People can't help but be drawn to you not because you're trying to attract them, but because authentic self love creates a glow that others instinctively want to be near, to bask in, to understand. Because here's the thing: confidence is the most seductive thing in the world. Not arrogance, which repels, or bravado, which reveals insecurity, but true confidence, that quiet certainty in your own value that requires no external validation. And confidence comes from knowing deep in your soul that you are enough, that you have nothing to prove, that your worth is inherent rather than earned. It comes from a relationship with yourself, built on trust, respect, and genuine appreciation, rather than criticism, doubt, and conditional acceptance. So, start there. Start with the foundation. Start with the relationship that will shape all others. Fall in love with yourself, not in a narcissistic way, but in a nurturing way, in the way you would love a dear friend or a beloved child, with compassion, with patience, with forgiveness, with delight. And watch how the world falls in love with you too, how others are drawn to the light you've kindled within yourself, how your genuine self appreciation becomes an invitation for others to appreciate you just as deeply. Next, let's talk about energy. Because seduction isn't just about what you say or do. It's not merely about physical appearance or clever conversation starters or strategic behaviors designed to create attraction. It's about something far more fundamental, far more powerful, far more authentic: the energy you bring into a room. It's about the invisible but palpable force field that surrounds you, shaped by your thoughts, your emotions, your intentions, and your level of presence. It's about the subtle vibration you emit that others can feel before a single word is exchanged, that communicates more in an instant than words could express in hours. It's about the way you carry yourself, the subtle signals conveyed through your posture, your movements, your breathing patterns that telegraph your internal state to everyone around you. It's about the way you make eye contact, whether it's distracted and fleeting or present and penetrating, whether it skims the surface or dives to the depths, whether it seeks validation or offers connection. It's about the way you listen, not just hearing words, but receiving the other person fully, creating a space where they feel seen, valued, and understood in a world where genuine attention has become increasingly rare. It's about being fully present and fully yourself, bringing your complete, unfiltered awareness to each moment rather than dwelling in the past or projecting into the future. It's about creating an aura that draws people in, not because you're trying to, but because you're simply being yourself, your most radiant, confident, and unapologetic self. And that authentic presence has a gravitational pull that is utterly irresistible. So, how do you cultivate that energy? How do you develop that magnetic presence that others can feel from across a room? Start by being intentional about the energy you bring into spaces. Recognize that you have the power to influence the atmosphere around you, to elevate or diminish a room simply by how you show up. Begin with awareness. Notice how different emotional states affect your energy, how stress contracts it, how joy expands it, how presence amplifies it, how distraction dissipates it. Take responsibility for your energetic state, understanding that while you can't always control your circumstances, you can always choose your response, and that choice shapes the energy you emit. When you walk into a room, own it. Not with arrogance, but with assurance. Not with domination, but with dignity. Stand tall, with your shoulders back and your heart open, a posture that communicates both strength and receptivity. Smile, not the forced smile of social obligation, but the genuine expression of someone who is at ease with themselves and glad to be present. Let your energy speak before you do, allowing others to feel your presence before you've said a word. When you're talking to someone, really listen, not the distracted half listening that has become the norm in our notification saturated world, but the complete focused attention that is perhaps the greatest gift you can offer another human being. Be curious about them, not in a performative way, but from a genuine desire to understand another soul's journey. Be engaged, bringing your full presence to the interaction, rather than allowing your attention to fragment among the thousand distractions that constantly compete for it. And most importantly, be authentic. Drop the masks, the performances, the carefully curated personas you've developed to please others or protect yourself. Allow yourself to be seen, with all your contradictions and complexities, your strengths and your vulnerabilities, your certainties and your questions. Because nothing is more seductive than someone who is unapologetically themselves, who has the courage to stand in their truth even when it's uncomfortable. who offers the gift of their genuine presence in a world of carefully crafted images and strategic self presentation. And let's not forget about the power of mystery. In an age of oversharing, where people broadcast their every thought, feeling, and experience across social media platforms, there's something magnetically attractive about someone who maintains a certain reserve, who keeps parts of themselves sacred and private. You don't have to reveal everything about yourself all at once, laying out your life story, your traumas, your triumphs, and your dreams in the first conversation. You don't need to perform emotional striptease to create connection. In fact, revealing everything at once doesn't create intimacy, it bypasses it. True intimacy is built gradually through the slow mutual revelation of self over time, through the earning of trust and the deepening of understanding. So give yourself permission to be selective about what you share and when you share it. Leave a little something to the imagination. Let them wonder about the depths they haven't yet explored, the stories you haven't yet told, tied to the art of embracing your feminine energy, regardless of your gender identity, regardless of societal expectations, regardless of cultural conditioning about how you should express yourself. It's about connecting with that receptive, intuitive, creative force that exists within all of us, but that many have been taught to suppress, ignore, or devalue in favor of more traditionally masculine qualities like logic, action, and control. It's about understanding that feminine energy isn't defined by external appearance or behavior, but by an internal quality of being fluid rather than rigid, cyclical rather than linear, intuitive rather than purely logical, collaborative rather than competitive. It's about being soft yet powerful, understanding that tenderness isn't weakness, but a profound strength that requires incredible courage to maintain in a hardened world. It's about being graceful, yet bold, moving through life with both elegance and audacity, with both flow and direction. It's about owning your sensuality and letting it shine in a way that feels authentic to you, not as a performance for others' pleasure, but as an expression of your own aliveness, your own embodiment, your own joy in the miracle of having a body that can feel pleasure, pain, and everything in between. It's about understanding that femininity isn't a weakness, despite what millennia of patriarchal conditioning might have led us to believe. It's not something to be overcome, controlled, or apologized for. It's a strength, a superpower, a force so potent that entire societal structures have been built to contain and diminish it. And when you embrace it, when you reclaim it, when you allow it to flow through you, unimpeded by shame or doubt or fear, you radiate a confidence that's irresistible, an authenticity that's magnetic, a presence that's unforgettable. So, how do you tap into that? How do you reclaim and embody your feminine essence in a world that often devalues or distorts it? Start by embracing the things that make you feel feminine, the practices, environments, and expressions that connect you to that energy within. This is deeply personal. What awakens feminine energy in one person might not resonate with another. For you, maybe it's wearing that dress that makes you feel like a goddess, that allows you to experience the sensual pleasure of fabric against skin, that enables you to move with a fluidity and grace that reminds you of your power. Maybe it's dancing freely, allowing your body to move without restriction or self consciousness, surrendering to rhythm and sensation rather than controlling every movement. Maybe it's spending time in nature, connecting with the ultimate feminine force, the earth itself, and remembering that you are a part of that cycle of creation, destruction, and renewal. Maybe it's letting yourself be vulnerable and open, removing the armor you've built to protect yourself and allowing your true feelings to be seen and honored. Maybe it's practicing receptivity, learning to receive compliments, help, pleasure, and abundance without feeling unworthy or indebted. Maybe it's embracing your intuition, trusting the knowing that comes from a place beyond logic, the wisdom that whispers rather than shouts. Maybe it's simply standing in front of the mirror and saying, I am enough, affirming your inherent worth beyond any external measure of value or success. Femininity isn't a weakness, it's a strength. It's not about being passive, but about being receptive. Not about being submissive, but about being flexible. Not about being decorative, but about being deeply, authentically expressive. And pretenses, or loves, here's the bottom line, the essence of everything we've explored today, the truth that, once embraced, will transform not just how others see you, but how you move through the world. Seduction isn't about playing games or pretending to be someone you're not. It's not about manipulation, deception, or any of the tactics that popular culture has erroneously associated with attraction. It's about something far more powerful, far more authentic, far more revolutionary. It's about embracing your confidence, your femininity, and your power. It's about stepping fully into who you truly are, rather than contorting yourself to fit others' expectations. It's about knowing your worth, not in a theoretical, intellectual way, but in a bone deep, cellular level, unshakable certainty that informs every choice you make, every boundary you set, every relationship you allow into your life. It's about letting that inner knowing, that profound self value, radiate from you naturally, creating an energy field around you that others can feel even if they can't explain it. It's about recognizing that trying to be what you think others want is not only exhausting, but ultimately futile. Because what people are truly drawn to is authenticity, presence, and the courage to be fully yourself in a world that often encourages conformity. It's about understanding that the most seductive thing in the world is someone who is unapologetically themselves. Not themselves with conditions and caveats, not themselves only when it's convenient or well received, but themselves fully, completely, radically in their joy and their sorrow, in their strength and their vulnerability, in their certainty and their doubt. It's about recognizing that what makes you different isn't a liability to be hidden, but your greatest asset, your unique offering to a world drowning in sameness. It's about knowing that your quirks, your perspectives, your particular way of moving through the world is precisely what makes you memorable, valuable, and yes, irresistible. So take this as your sign to step into your most magnetic self, to own your allure, not as something you do to attract others, but as something you are, an essential quality of your being that emerges naturally when you remove the layers of doubt, fear, and pretense that have kept it hidden. To trust that you don't need gimmicks, games, or manipulations to be desired. You simply need to be fully, authentically present. To let your energy do the talking. To allow the force field created by your self love, your presence, and your authenticity to draw the right people towards you without effort or pretense. Because you, my love, are a masterpiece. A one of a kind creation that will never be repeated in the history of the universe. And when you embrace that truth, when you live from that place of profound self recognition, you become unstoppable, not just in matters of attraction, but in every aspect of your life. You become a force of nature, a catalyst for transformation, a beacon that guides others toward their own authenticity simply by the example of your own. Remember, loves, you're not just the main character, the supporting player, or the background extra in the grand production of life. You're not just one role among many, interchangeable and forgettable. You're the leading lady, the star of the show, the irreplaceable presence around whom the entire story revolves. You're the protagonist of your own epic journey, the heroine facing trials and triumphs, the central figure whose choices, growth, and transformation give meaning to every scene, every chapter, every act. And this, truth without qualifying it for those who aren't ready to hear it. Because I'm rooting for you, cheering from the sidelines, celebrating every moment you choose authenticity over approval, courage over comfort, and truth over convenience. I believe in you, in your power, in your potential, in your capacity to create a life and relationships that honor rather than diminish your magnificent spirit. And I'm here, supporting you every step of the way on this journey toward becoming the most magnetic, authentic, irresistible version of yourself, not for anyone else's sake, but for your own.